Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you, boom, are watching Shazam, the Political Vigilante. Bringing so much hot, furious truth to the citizens of Gotham. You're the best and smartest fans and viewers on the interweb, huh? Had a lot of words in there. I got a little word salady. This is the People's Channel because you guys support what I do, right? I don't have any corporate sponsors. It'd be great if I did. I wouldn't say no. They wouldn't be able to tell me what to do. And so the sponsorship would probably kind of end quickly, but I would take the money in the short run, pay some bills and buy Bitcoin, and then keep bringing stories like this. We are now been talking about this for 4 years. Next month, July, will be 4 years ago that Epstein got arrested. And then August will be the 4-year anniversary of him hanging himself with a paper t-shirt. So I keep covering this story, which is probably one of the reasons why I've been demonetized now for 3 years. So please look at the scroll below and support what we're doing. I'm not giving up on this. There's a huge distraction process that we talk about a lot on the show with regard to Epstein. So when stories come out, like what JPMorgan Chase is paying 300 million, 209, we're going to show you in a second, 298 million or whatever it is. Okay, that's significant. It's a big amount of money, but I'm going to always show you there's always just a little bit of it. It's always just we're just going to cover this part of it. Because over here is, oh, these are all of the billionaires and most important people in the world with ties to Epstein. This is the Clintons and Trump, and all Alan Dershowitz and all these celebrities and all these Wall Street people with awful ties to Epstein, and none of them are getting prosecuted. Oh, here's the royal family of England, and just woof. The Saudi royal family. Oh, we can't talk about the Saudis. I mean, they give us oil. So that's how we go in whenever we read Epstein stuff and stories. We got to always remember they won't talk about the big obvious elephant in the room, which is why isn't there a tidal wave of indictments that, I mean, this we should be hearing every week, new indictment, new person brought to trial. Like there should be a stack of these billionaires getting perp walked in orange jumpsuits to federal courthouses, but it's not happening. We should see, oh, there's Prince Andrew being extradited to the United States where he will stand trial. We should be seeing that. It's not happening. So we get stories like this. All right, let's look at this. JPMorgan, again, this is in cnbc.com, mainstream media. JPMorgan prepared to pay $290 million in settlements with Jeffrey Epstein victims. This just came out today. It has reached a settlement regarding victims of the late sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein. The bank's litigation with the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Epstein matter remains. However, its claims against former executive Jess Staley, who was friends with Epstein, are also active. Now, I've shown you this photo before, but Jess Staley was CEO of JPMorgan, and it shows the ties. We've done numerous stories showing how JPMorgan Chase with Jess Staley was well aware of Epstein's problems. He was laundering or using money through JPMorgan Chase and Deutsche Bank as well, but JPMorgan was well aware of this. I've shown you videos where there was emails, internal emails within the legal department at JPMorgan saying this is bad, we shouldn't be doing business with Epstein, and they did it anyway. So they're very part of the whole Epstein machine was getting wealthy, powerful people to give him money. A lot of times he would use blackmail. He would, say, I've said this numerous times, he would say he'd have a big party at one of his houses, New Mexico or New York, or obviously his creep island in the Virgin Islands. And he would get these guys to have sex with a minor and videotape it, and then they'd be compromised and say, I've got this video of you with this girl underage, so I need you to put $10 million into my fake hedge fund, which is how the CIA works as well. and why Acosta said in 2009, Acosta was the prosecutor in Florida when Epstein got arrested the first time, said in a quote, Epstein was a CIA asset, right? So I just going into this, it's a big web. Banking is a big part of it. The fashion industry is a big part of it, right? Trump had a fashion company, right? We've talked about the head of Victoria's Secret, Les Wexner, head of the North American Snake. Philanthropy is a part of it. Hollywood, politics, it goes everywhere. But let's focus on banking. Last week, lawyers for the Epstein victim called Jane Doe 1 in the documents asked the court to reopen JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon's deposition. So we have two guys. We have Jamie Dimon, who is a creep, and Jess Staley. So a person familiar with the matter told CNBC, $290 million. The settlement does not include an admission of liability by the bank, the person said. That is the most critical part of this. Why is that the most critical part of this? Not an admission of guilt. So you and I go, wow, 290 million, that's a lot. And look, of any Epstein victim, I hope they get all the money in the world. They deserve it. But what this really is pay the fine. This is a payoff. Again, this is no shade on the Epstein victims. They got to do whatever they can do, and they're not going to get convictions of these billionaires. So I hope they get some money, and I hope some of this money goes to a victims fund that helps other survivors of this, because these victims, who many of whom are adults now, you're never going to be the same when you're a victim of that. I can tell you firsthand. So just make real clear, not critical of the victims at all. Get whatever you can get, win a civil suit, get whatever you can get. But the point here, no admission of guilt. I had on this show former child crimes investigator Eric Oldenburg, who was with the Phoenix Police Department for 24 years, retired honorably, and I asked him, go watch that video, it's on my Epstein playlist. I said, if you were the lead investigator in the Epstein-Maxwell case, what would you do? He'd go, oh, Graham, I would get all the flight logs. I would be investigating all of these people. Anyone that went there, we would be bringing in all of these people for questioning. And we would be coming up with indictments on a lot of them, is what he said. So why isn't the Department of Justice doing that? Trump was the QAnon crowd thought Trump was going to bring all these people up. Why didn't he have a lead prosecutor, a special prosecutor, and set up a whole task force? Why didn't he do that? Because Trump was on his plane 5 times. People were trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. Why isn't Biden doing that? Biden has ties to him, and the Clintons control the whole Democratic Party to this day. Bill Clinton was on 26 times. Hillary was on twice. So if these were regular people committing these crimes, there would be at least 30 to 40 indictments that have been rolling out over the last 4 years. I mean, the list would be this person's arrested, this person's arrested, this person's arrested. But no, because it's the ruling elites, the best we get is no admission of guilt. And this is another thing you need to read. Let me go into this. Right? The announcement of the settlement case came just hours before a judge ruled that in this case, U.S. District Court in Manhattan can proceed in a class action lawsuit. Again, class action is money. Great. Victims get all the money you can. No one is going to do jail time. Ghislaine Maxwell, a year ago, in May of 22, during the whole Roe v. Wade, was moved to a low security prison. The mainstream media didn't talk about it. The bank did not include details about the agreement in the announcement. The person familiar with the deal requested anonymity to discuss the details of the settlement. The parties in the Jane Doe 1 versus JPMorgan Chase have informed the court they have reached an agreement in principle to settle the punitive class action lawsuit related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. And I think this is what the victims should do. If you're not going to get any criminal prosecution, then sue these people for everything you can. Somebody bring a lawsuit against Les Wexner and Victoria's Secret. Do it. Somebody sue the royal family. Do it. The parties believe the settlement is in the best interest of all parties, especially the survivors who were victims of Epstein's terrible abuse, JPMorgan added. See? And now JPMorgan can pay $200 million, $290 million, and Jamie Dimon and Jess Staley probably won't have to ever go to prison. See, isn't that nice? It comes a month after Deutsche Bank, we've talked about them before, where Epstein became a client after he was forced out by JPMorgan in 2013. So Deutsche Bank took this creep that was kicked out of JPMorgan and said, yeah, we love creeps at Deutsche Bank. They settled with Epstein victims for $75 million. Again, JPMorgan's litigation with the US Virgin Islands is ongoing. Money settlement stems from claims filed last year by an unnamed woman using the pseudonym Jane Doe that the bank knowingly benefited from and facilitated Epstein's sex trafficking operation, which they did. You're paying $290 million, but you're not admitting guilt. That's just because JPMorgan has a wall of lawyers, and this is the best deal they could come up with. But JPMorgan is guilty. They're filthy guilty, and these people need to be, Jamie Dimon and Jess Staley need to be in federal prison with Harvey Weinstein for the rest of their creep lives, but it won't happen. We all understand that Epstein's behavior was monstrous, and we believe this settlement is in the best interest of all parties. Yeah, meaning your best interest, that your bosses don't go to prison, especially the survivors who suffered unimaginable abuse at the hands. Yeah, so again, we're saying Epstein's bad, Epstein's bad. You're complicit in the crime, JPMorgan. Again, I hope some of this $290 million goes to all of the other survivors. If I got a $290 million settlement from JPMorgan Chase, I'd be hiring a bunch of Navy SEALs to go investigate and find the heads of these snakes. And it would be a real crying shame if many of them slipped and fell. Any association with him was a mistake and we regret it. You just got caught. Shut up. I hate these corporate statements. We would never have continued to do business. Yeah, you would have. Yes, you would have. Shut up, JPMorgan. You would have, because he was bringing you in money and that's all you care about. So what if kids are getting raped? As long as you got money, you don't care. If we believed he was using our bank and you knew he was doing it, there's internal emails. That's why you're paying the $290 million. If you could have covered it up and not had to pay a penny and gotten away with it, you would have. Shut up. I hate this. I can't handle just blatant creep corporate lawyer scoured lie statements. If you think I'm an idiot, and our core values are an attorney in the lead plaintiff case said the Virgin Islands have been extremely valuable. We recognize the importance of the government's continued litigation against JPMorgan Chase. Good. Go after them every way you can. Bankrupt these idiots. Bankrupt all of them. In a court opinion posted later Monday morning, Judge Jed Rakoff wrote that the plaintiffs meet the requirements to form a class action lawsuit. Sweet. The pool of the alleged victims in the case likely exceeds the 40-person threshold for class action lawsuit certification. The judge wrote, rebuffing JPMorgan's calculation of 32 people. Oh, weird that JPMorgan had the below class action number. I guess that's how they saw it. Filthy maggots. The bank restricted its tally to people who were sexually abused or trafficked by Epstein in or after 2007. But the judge noted the several pieces of evidence, including suspicious activity reports filed in relation to Epstein's accounts in 2002, suggest JPMorgan knew or should have known about the sex trafficking operations earlier, which they did. So the class action could contain well over 100 people. Good. Keep going after them. JPMorgan remains headed for an October 23rd trial with the US Virgin Islands in its lawsuit over the bank's relation with Epstein. JPMorgan's claims against former executive Jess Staley, who was friends with Epstein, are now active, the bank said. We've read you emails and texts between each other, and they were really creepy. Jess Staley was like, thanks, great to meet Snow White last weekend or whatever. Creepy, creep. They're also now, JPMorgan is trying to get back $80 million that they paid Jess Staley. They're trying to get that back. Well, that's a silver lining if Staley is like bankrupt, So hopefully I'd love to see him on food stamps. Staley is denied knowledge. Dude, there's text messages and emails between you guys. Like, they're just blatant liars. It's like a guy coming out of a strip club just covered in fucking stripper titty glitter going, I've never been to a strip club. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on. Okay, thank you. And so the U.S. Virgin Islands will continue to proceed. So that's the update on that. But again, here's what's happening. They're going to just they're going to hang Jess Staley out to dry, which, okay, good. I hope he gets hung out to dry, but we're never going to get at. The glaring omission, again, it's just about JPMorgan Chase, but no mainstream media outlet. You notice how when they bring up Epstein 4 years ago, they would always name, Clinton and Trump, and now they never name those people. It's just like this one person or Maxwell or so. The civil lawsuit is the way the survivors are going to have to go, and Virginia Roberts Giuffre settled out of court with Prince Andrew, who he should be behind bars. These people should be behind bars, but is the survivors are getting some money from them? Good. But it's just, we're never going to see real indictments. We're never going to see real indictments unless we actually had a president that really had the backbone to go arrest all these people at once. Do what President Bukele did in El Salvador, arrested 65,000 or something like that, drug traffickers overnight. That's what I would do if I was president. Oh, we'd have ourselves a little Epstein roundup. I would be overnight. As soon as my hand came off the Bible and I was sworn in, it would be like, get them. So we'll keep covering this, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for supporting our show. Go to GrahamElwood.com. You can watch my new comedy special, Manifested, which is about an hour of me calling out the two-party system, the war machine, the media. It's a blast. Hope you like it. Watch it. Give it a nice review. Share it on your social media. It's at All Things Comedy's YouTube. You can just go to YouTube and type in Graham Elwood Manifest It, and you'll see the special. Or you can just watch it at GrahamElwood.com. Sign up for our newsletter at GrahamElwood.com. We have new. Once you watch the special, there's a joke in the special that there's then a t-shirt for it. The second knuckle brings enlightenment. That new merchandise will make sense to you. So you can buy that at GrahamElwood.com. And of course, subscribe to all my other stuff like Government Secrets with Lee Camp. Tour dates will be announced. So check all that out at GrahamElwood.com. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. That's how we make Gotham great again, folks. And shave your knuckles for justice. Boom!
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood. And go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a P.O. box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.